Hi, you guys. Welcome back to Free and Free. And today we are going to talk about the second recorded lynching that happened here in Charlotte, North Carolina. Stay tuned. Modern Charlotte is growing very fast. It's actually one of the fastest growing cities in the United States, but it is not without some dark history. The first colonists arrived in Charlotte in 1753, but Charlotte was already inhabited by the Catawba tribe. This was their home before it was colonized by these settlers. And I feel conflicted calling them settlers when we all know the truth of colonization. It was basically theft of someone else's land, and that would have been the Catawba tribe. North Carolina was an agricultural state. It relied heavily on slavery. North Carolina made its fortune from slavery because they needed people to work the land. And so kidnapped Africans were brought over to the state in order to work the land. They tried to enslave the Native Americans, the Catawba tribe, but the Catawbas knew the land. They knew how to run away. They knew how to work the land, and so therefore that did not work. Therefore, the slavery of Black people. And so North Carolina became a prosperous state because of that free labor. This map here is actually the last map that shows slavery in the southern states. It was in 1860 that this map was made, and then of course the Civil War started, and then slavery, quote unquote, technically ended in 1865, but we know that is not true, and a new form of slavery started, and that is called sharecropping. Now that slavery was over, white Southerners tried to come up with a plan in order to still somehow keep slavery intact without calling it slavery. And so, therefore, they came up with a system of number one, mass incarceration. You jail Black people for the smallest of infractions, and then their punishment was to work the land. Another form of slavery, which was a cycle of poverty, was called sharecropping. Sharecropping was basically when an individual will get a plot of land, and that sharecropper, also called a tenant farmer, they would work the land. The owner of the land would provide the tools, the seeds, etc. And then at the end of the cycle, I don't know if it was like fall or winter, they would then divvy up the funds, and then that way, this is when the sharecropper would get paid. A lot of times, the owner of the farm would always say that the tenant farmer was in the negative. Like, you still owe me, you didn't produce what you said you were going to produce, so therefore now we're in the negative, and you owe me against next year's crop. And that's how the cycle of poverty started and began. And that's why sharecropping did not make people rich, it made them poorer. This was actually a profession of someone who may not have known how to read or write or have the education to know better, to know what they were signing, because they would sign paperwork that they didn't understand. And that's why sharecropping was a very bad cycle and a cycle of poverty. So on June 29th, 1929, 21-year-old sharecropper and husband Willie McDaniel decided to confront the landowner about money that was owed to him. He felt like he was cheated out of this money and confronted the owner of the land. The lynching was orchestrated and by the landowner, and he gathered a mob of men, and the lynching took place where the Cato campus of CPCC is located. Mr. McDaniel was found with neck marks, which indicated that he was lynched. He was not found hung, but he was found on the ground. Witnesses saw who did this, but they were afraid to come forward because they were threatened with death. The authorities knew who did this, and they never charged anybody with Mr. McDaniel's lynching. The courts knew who did it, and the courts never charged them with anything. They got away with this, well, in this lifetime. So that is the second recorded lynching that happened in Charlotte, right off of Harris Boulevard. If I sound sad, this really made me sad. This lynching, just the history behind it, just behind all lynchings. So this really made me sad. So I probably sound really sad during this small little documentary about the lynching. But I want to thank you guys so much for watching. I want to thank you guys so much for the support, and I hope you learned something. So next time you drive past Cato campus in Charlotte, North Carolina, off of Harris Boulevard, you remembered what happened there. Always remember, never forget. And again, thank you for watching, and until next time, bye.